Hi, I'm Deshi Volanti for wickedradio.org, 88.9 FM at WIKD. It's a low-power radio station here in Edgerton, Wisconsin. We are unlicensed pirate radio, and I'm here to finally update to a new version of the how to build an internet radio station. I'm not going to cover FM broadcasting on this how-to video, but I'm going to sit and explain on how you can set up an internet radio station with limited funds. You are going to need 2 computers and a little bit of ingenuity and a whole lot of patience in order to get it set up, but I'm here to help walk you through that, and stay tuned, and I'm going to show you guys how to get started. Alright, I'm going to talk a little bit about the hardware you're going to need here for the computer for the station itself, for your playlist control and your main computer. You're going to need to have 2 sound cards. I recommend at least one of them being an Audigy type Creative Lab sound card. They allow you to do a lot of really cool stuff as far as like having a virtual sound card device built into it. You're going to want to be running at least Windows XP Pro. I have not tested out these results under Vista. You're going to need 1 to 2 gigs of RAM, and you're going to want that to be at least a 1.6 dual core AMD, or if it's a single core, you're going to want at least a 2.6 gig processor in there. You can have results with something less. I'm just giving you guys what I highly recommend to use. And you're going to need Sam Broadcaster. It's a little piece of software you can get from spatialaudio.com. That's going to be your station control software. And for your website, you're going to want to be running Apache web server. You can do it with Windows Internet Information Services, but I recommend getting a Linux host provider for a website, and that'll also provide some more functionality for your radio station as far as letting people interact from the internet. And then I'm going to walk you through how to install and configure the Sam Broadcaster program, and you're going to also need Shoutcast Server for Linux or for Windows, either one. I'm going to show you how to configure the one for Linux, so that's what you're gonna want. As far as like storage space, you're going to want at least 500 gigs to a terabyte if you're going to be recording audio or video of your shows, and for storing all of your music files and whatnot. And then I'm also going to go through and show you how to set up the Sam Broadcaster PHP website, which will let people interact with your station and they can control it from the internet. And then if you want to have the ability to have live phone usage with live callers for a call-in program and whatever you would need for that, you're going to need a separate computer for that, or you can get a 3rd sound card and then just install the software on that station. But whatever you do, you're going to need a sound board of some sort to mix everything down in order to do things properly, which I will walk you through how to do with this setup. Your phone computer is going to need at least 1 sound card, and you're not going to want that to be a digital sound card. You're going to want to be able to just plug in directly. If all you have is a digital sound card, then you're going to want to plug into the center channel on the output of that. You're going to need an IAX software phone, which you can get for free from Zoiper.com, and then you're going to need an IAX VoIP provider, and I'm actually going to be offering some limited free services for podcasters and internet radio stations out there. All you got to pay for is your toll-free number, but I will give you free IAX hosting. And then you're going to need broadband internet, DSL or cable. You're going to want to have at least a 1 megabyte download speed and at least a 256 kilobyte upload, or megabit, sorry, flipping backwards. You're going to at least 256K upload. You're going to need a headset, microphone for the phone system. That'll be your best option for them to pick you up, and I'll show you how everything works. And that's basically everything you're going to need to get started with your quest on conquering internet radio. Now I'm going to get in to show you guys how to install some software, starting with Sam Broadcaster. Alright, here we are going to install and configure Sam Broadcaster. You're going to have your file. You want to make sure you download it from spatialaudio.com, and you're going to want to install the MySQL, or actually the Firebird version, for yourself, and just use the default settings. You're at the installer. And since I already have it, you're going to want to use just Sam BC. I'm using 3 because I've already installed it before. And then you're going to want to select Firebird. That comes with it. You're going to want to use the default settings. Click Next. They'll download and install the database for you, because it might not take as long on your system. Let it goes through and downloads all the files. Just about that. It's all automated, so you don't have to worry about any type of database settings or anything like that. And go ahead and finish, and it'll jump right back into the installer for Sam. It's loading up the Firebird database. Now it's installing again. And you're going to skip this step. And you want to uncheck that unless you want to visit them about stream hosting. Otherwise, you just want to have Run SAM program checked. Connecting to the database. You're going to want to let it add all this stuff here. I don't need to do the add that, but you're going to want to add the sound effects. You can add the audio later on. Now this is the default setup of what it looks like. You're going to want to do a few things. First, make sure that your audio works. And it sounds like the audio works. You can remove those. Just select them all and select delete from your queue. And then you can delete, right click on in your playlist and delete that. And for tracks, all you got to do is right click in the window down here and choose add. Choose your music directory. This is the first time people have seen the structure of Wicked Radio. It takes a little while here. We'll choose a small directory here, tabby. It'll add all your files. And then to make it easier, you're going to want to right click on it and choose sort by artist. After a few moments, it's gone through and sorted everything by artist name, so it makes it easy to go through and find things. Now you're going to want to set this up. There's no effects over there, so that's a window, sound effects.
Sure to register your copy of SAM at www.spatialaudio.com. You'll feel...
Now, all you got to do to add your own sound effects, it's under your playlist window. You're going to go to Content, double-click on that, and then Sound Effects, All. There's all the sound effects. And then they'll show up over here in the right in the pane. And once I show you through how to configure, then you're gonna to finish configuring. Your next step is gonna be you're gonna want to set up your playlist rotation rules. You click on playlist rotation rules. This is all self-explanatory. This is self-explanatory, and then you click configure. This is your clock wheel rotation. So go ahead and click clear. And then you're going to want to load a category, which will be the tracks that we added. And I set it to random. And then click OK. And there, now it'll enforce the rules. And it'll load a random track. Then you click OK and then OK again. So when you click the next, there, it's loaded up this next song. There it is. And now for your audio, for your mic, you want to talk, you're going to have to click config under voice effects. And then your recording settings is where you choose your microphone. You're going to want to choose the card that you're recording from, that your input from your board is plugged into. For me, that's the Audigy 4, and you can click. This will load up the recording settings to choose where you record from. Recording from my line input, which is analog mix on here. So that's set. And then all you got to do is make sure you're where you're recording to in the pipeline. So what I choose is encoders. And it skips the output. It records to the pipeline, but it doesn't output it back out, so you don't hear yourself talking. And then you can just click OK, and then turn the mic off button so that it says on. And then all you got to do to talk is either press the button, and now you can see my level going through there as I talk, or you can click lock to talk. And it auto, if you have the auto fade button set, like I do, it's automatically faded the music. So I'll undo it. And the music's back up to full level. Now it's fading again as I talk. That's pretty self-explanatory on how to do that. And if you don't want it to auto-fade the music, just undo the auto button on Sam there in the voice effects. Now, what we need to do is to add your internet streaming ability. You got to install the Shoutcast server, and I'll show you how to do that for Linux here. So you're going to want to connect to your Linux host through SSH. You should already know how to do this, so you find another how-to on how to do that. And then you're going to want to download the Linux version of Shoutcast server, which we have here. And the command is tar zxvf for the file. Then we do that, and that'll produce those two files there. And then you're going to want to edit. I use Nano. You can use whatever, but I use Nano to edit the configuration file for it. And there's just a few things you're going to want to change. Your maximum users that you want to allow, and you will want to set that accordingly. There is a comments in the text file, the configuration text file, that explain how it works. Now, if you're on a decent server like I am, where we have 100 megabit, we can handle about 100 users at our bit rate that we're on there. So you're going to want to calculate that a bit. Then you're going to want to change the password field. Set my password to super password. And then the port number, you're going to want to change that and use a port that you know is available. 8000 should be available by default on a host unless it's shared hosting and someone else already has a Shoutcast server. I'm going to set mine to 8050. And the rest is all optional, but you're going to want to set another field down here, which is the administration password. All that stuff can be left default. Server configuration is where you want to go to, and you want to delete this semicolon here to activate this setting, and this will allow you to connect. We'll just set it to admin right now. This will allow you to connect to the administration panel on the web server for Shoutcast. And the rest of these options are all optional, so you don't have to mess with them. I'm not going to explain them all. It's well documented for Shoutcast server. This how-to is just going to show you how to connect and set this up initially and run it. So that's it for the settings for that. So all you got to do to run it is /scserve, and then you put an ampersand, and that'll launch it into the background. But for this, I'm going to set this up to run in the foreground so you can watch what's going on here. There, now it's listening for connections. So now we go back to Sam Broadcaster, and then you're going to want to load up under Window. You want Encoders. That brings up the encoder window here. Click the plus button to add a new one. Select MP3. And that opens this up. Then you're going to want to select your bit rate. For Wicked Radio, because at 96 kilobit at 32 or at 44.1 kilohertz stereo. And then if you want to make sure you stay automated, you're going to want to check the box that says auto start encoder after 5 seconds and automatically reconnect. We'll set that down to 10 seconds. So that way if anything happens, it'll automatically restart the encoder. Then you click on the server details, and this is where you fill out your server. You're going to put in the location to get to your server. For me, it's wickedradio.org. The port we used was 8050, and the password was super password. And it says my station name, so you're going to fill out your station, Wicked Radio. Select your style. You're going to put in your website address. You can put in your AIM screen name, your IRC channel, and that's all optional. I just delete all this information out and don't use it. And then stream archive is if you want to record it and have a copy on your computer. What I recommend is you just create another encoder. I'll show you how to do that momentarily with our live version of this. But that's all you need, and then you want to make sure that's set to Shoutcast. And then click OK, and now we've got the encoder here. You got to have audio, some kind of audio going for it to connect. So there, it's connected now. Let's turn the volume down. So it's connected. So we'll look at the window here, and we can see that it's connected, and it is in fact streaming audio now. So now what you want to do, if you want to archive your show to a file like we do here for our podcast, you click plus again. You want MP3. And then you don't have to worry about any of this. What you do need to worry about is the bit rate you record to. And for that, for us, we record it at, in stereo. So that's down a little bit ways here. 32K. At 16 kilohertz stereo. And then under server details, you just check the box that says no server. And then stream archive, then you check that. This is the file name. And you just click the folder option for where you're going to save the audio files to. And then I set up Mars as a new file for each session. If you want to break it up, you can set that down here. It's well documented. You can go to spatialaudio.com and get more information there from their forums. And then if you want to automate even further, I'm not going to go into too much detail about full automation. It could take a week. But there's the event scheduler. So let's say you want to set off a new event. So this is Deshi's event. And what we're going to do is have it load up a new rotation. This is the most basic way to automate a station. You just set up a bunch of categories with different songs and you load up a new rotation for that. So we've already got some rotations set here. So let's say we want to load up rock for my event. So there, you can set it here. If you execute it, you can have it once at a date and time, or you can set it every day, or every Monday, Tuesday, every Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday, Friday through Sunday. You know, there's all kinds of options you can have there. So let's just say every day for this argument at 8 o'clock p.m. Then you click add, and you can add in there more than once. So you can add it every day or every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and skip Thursday. And then you click OK, and now you've got your event in there. PAL, I'm not going to cover PAL. That's the playlist automation language. That can get real hairy with a lot of things. We do use PAL scripts quite heavily for wickedradio, but I'm not going to go into all those details on how to code that. That's its own programming language. You can find out a lot more. You can download scripts off of the forums on spatialaudio.com. So now you've got the basic setup of your software. You know what you're doing. You got your volume sliders for everything here, and this little button here is to fade to the next song. It'll fade in and out. This is your manual and auto DJ mode. If you click this arrow, there's also a queue mode. It'll just play everything in the queue and then stop. Auto DJ mode keeps it going no matter what. Desktop B and C are different views. You can access all these same windows by using the window button up at the top in the menu. And then you can select the different things you want, like voice tracking and your encoder window and things like that. So now what you need to do is you need to have a website. I'm not going to tell you how to develop a website or anything like that, but I will show you exactly what you kind of need to do to get that going. So then there's a folder, so you're going to want to go to your C drive and then your program files, and then spatial audio. Oops. I messed up that location. I don't know how I did that. Should have did it all on its own. We'll navigate the normal way. Spatial audio, and then you want to go to where you just installed it, 3. Then there's a folder that says SAM PHP Web. That's the folder you're going to want to deal with. That's all of this here. So you're going to want to upload all of this to your web server, and which we have here already. Get to the right directory. And then now we have all those files uploaded right here. So then you're going to want to configure a few things. You're going to edit config.php. And where it says SAM host, in between those quotes there, you're going to want to put in the IP address of your home computer of your internet connection for your system that is running SAM Broadcaster. It's very important, and then you also want to make sure you have this port set. There's some more I'll show you on your home system after we get this part done. So that's all you got to really set in here. You're going to want to set this up here, like my station name. This information will show up, the email address, and then your logo. I've already highly edited the page that it's on, so it's going to look a lot different than the default. Then what you want to do is there's dbconfig. You're going to want to edit that file, and this is where your database is. So this is, again, you're going to want to put in the IP address of the machine that's running your database. So it's going to be your home IP connection. And since you're probably using a router, you're not going to have to worry about the local LAN IP, just the internet IP for that. Use the computer that got SAM on and type whatismyip.com, and that's the IP you're going to want to enter into these two config files. And then for this, you're going to want to set, the driver they're using for this. You're going to type Firebird up there, and then the ports and all that. Again, there's more information on the Spatial Audio forums for that. If you're using MySQL, it's a lot easier. I just don't want to take the time it takes to show you guys how to install MySQL on a Windows machine. So that's the basic gist of that part, and then you can access that by going to the internet. It's not quite ready for action until you finish updating a few settings. Under SAM, you're going to want to click Config, and then go to Request Policy. Make sure you check the box that says Enable Request and set the rules in here, all the standards, and then where it says only accept requests from these IP addresses, you're going to want to enter the numerical IP address of your web server. That's in there. For me, it's that's in my other software. So yeah, you want to enter your numerical IP address of your web server in the box, or otherwise it'll ignore all the requests. And then you're going to want to select the General button, and the HTTP handler port, make sure you have that at 1221. That's the port. If you need to change that, this is where the location is for that. And then that's the port for the requests, and anything from the internet's going to come in on that port for it. So you're going to want to make sure in your router you open up port 1221 and port forward that over to your machine that's running SAM Broadcaster. Again, for that you can Google how to port forward depending on what type of router you have. My router I built myself from scratch, so using an old computer. So I can't really show you guys exactly how to do that. Now we can go to the web page now, wickedradio.org. We've already got it built in here. On the left side, we go to Quest Music. And this is what my page looks like after I've edited. It's a lot different than the default page, as I said. So you can scroll down through, and one of your listeners finds a song, they can click Request. Oops, I've got the wrong software turned on here. Do this one more time here. Okay. Click Request. Dope. I'm sure that was edited. Let me just double check these. Oh, it wasn't. Click Request one more time. There we go, and now it's your request has successfully been delivered to the DJ application and should play shortly. Dedications and all that, that's not even really useful at all from SAM. But then when you look in SAM, if someone requested something, it actually tells you in here that it was requested. And there's a request window that you can open up, and it should pop the request in there, but it's just as easy to look at your song queue, and you can see, oh, someone requested this song here. The dedications don't show up anywhere inside SAM. They haven't added that functionality yet. That's basically it. Wow, I didn't know it was going to do that. It unregistered my version of SAM on here. So that's basically it on how you set all that up for internet radio. So I'm going to wrap up with you guys in just a moment. Alright, and that's how you put together an internet radio station. Yeah, I didn't cover all the plugs and wires and things. I covered that quite well in the first video of the how-to. Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. Output goes all into the board, and then everything from the board goes into the inputs, and so on and so forth. I didn't cover the software yet for the phone system. I'm going to cover that in just a few moments here. And that is the last step. So now you've got, from this point on, if you don't want phone systems, you can stop the video here. If you want to have phone service, Skype, or voice over internet protocol service, then stay tuned and keep on watching. Alright, to work with phone service on your internet radio station, you're going to need some kind of phone provider, either Skype or a VoIP solutions provider. I'm going to show you guys how to set it up using Zoiper and a voice over internet provider. Now, you install Zoiper from Zoiper.com and you'll be getting this interface. You just right click anywhere on the front of it, go to options, and then you're going to want to set up a new IAX account, which I've already got here. So you're going to set up the host name of your IAX provider. For me, that's wickedradio.org, and then your username and password and your caller ID information. The audio devices is what's more important. For your input device, you're going to want to use a different microphone other than your studio mic. This is where the headset mic comes in. And you only want to plug in the microphone part of the headset mic, not the speakers, not the headphones itself. Your output device, you're going to want to have go to an output device that is going to go into your soundboard and plug in to your feed for your station. This way they don't get loopback when someone calls in and you're using the headset mic. They're not going to hear themselves from the output of the board. That's pretty much it. Then you just hit apply and OK, and then you're set up, and then you can connect. Like if you're using the Wicked Radio service and you want to have a chat line, you just dial 6.
Please enter your conference number followed by the pound key.
Do that one more time here so you can hear that.
Please enter your conference number followed by the pound key.
So then you can dial in whatever you want for a conference number. Let's say you want 100.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
And if nobody's in our conference system, it automatically plays Wicked Radio to the people that are dialing in. So then anybody that wants to come in from that point, all they have to do is dial up the number at 408-582-7937, and then dial extension 6. And then they can enter 100 and pound, and they'll get into your conference call. And that's one way you can have guests get onto your show. That is exactly how Wicked Radio has live guests. And then you can also purchase a toll-free number from us for just $10 a month, and that'll get you toll-free number, and you can have people call in directly into your own phone system, where they can press 1 for a conference, or they can press 2 to get to directly to your software phone. Now this is also the same setup for Skype. If all you have is Skype and you want to use that, you can install that and just set up the audio devices exactly the same as I showed you there. And I'm going to wrap up with you guys in just a moment. And that's basically it. That's how you set everything up to have your own fully functional internet radio station with phone support for live callers. If you have any questions or comments, you can stop by my live video chat room. You just go to wickedradio.org, click on live video chat on the menu on the left. That'll take you to my live video chat if I'm there. If I'm not, you can send me personal emails to deshi@wickedradio.org, or you can send email to radio@wickedradio.org. It's a good, easy way to get a hold of me. Or you can even leave voice comments for the station, or you can call in questions toll free at 866-496-4035. For wickedradio.org, I am Dr. Deshi Valenti.